Do you want to know where to start your healing when you have anxious attachment? Keep watching. Hi everyone, Mariana Turf here, and welcome to my channel, Become Secure Now, where I offer you an honest manual on how to heal your anxious attachment. Why do I call it an honest manual? I really emphasize on that. It's because a lot of people out there, I feel, they sell you on these ideas that you can accommodate your difficult partner, and they're not really teaching what anxious people don't know how to do, which is to let go. The objective of these toxic partners in your life are not really for you to change and be like them. These toxic partners in your life, this humiliating pattern of partners that you've had this whole time, is to teach you to let go. Anxious attached people grip, and these partners keep coming because the universe or God or whatever it is that you believe keeps teaching you this lesson. And this is the lesson you don't want to learn, that is to let go. And you can let go pain free. Trust me, I used to be the most anxious attached person in the planet. And I became a therapist so I can heal myself. Because around those times, there was no social media, there was no YouTube, there was just a whole bunch of encyclopedias on my college library, and that's the only thing I had to really understand my anxious attachment. But we'll dive on that a little bit later. But for all those of you who are starting to really take secure attachment as a life project, I want to tell you that there is a lot of hope. The reason why I disappeared from YouTube is because I was pursuing my doctorate and I was doing my dissertation based on research. So what I did was, I don't know if you can see my old videos, is where I was asking people to contact me and tell me their story if they had anxious attached symptoms. So I've spoken in the last 4 years with over 6,500 people. So I want to tell you that a lot of my content is based on my research, is based on 10,000 hours on research on anxious attached people. So all my research is 100% original. I don't do ChatGPT to get content. I don't copy other channels. These are my theories. These are my tools, and they're tested and tried, and I want to give them to you here on YouTube so then you can heal way faster than I did. So let's go to today's video. I want to give you 3 fundamental things that you need to know if you're starting to take secure attachment as a goal, if you want to get rid of this anxious attachment that's so humiliating. So these 3 things are really going to help you build your healing. Okay, you cannot start your healing unless you know these 3 things. That's what I'm trying to say. First is that you have to get this idea of your head that you have to heal in order to be chosen. Let me explain. You don't heal to be chosen. You heal to choose differently. See the difference? So what does that mean? So I can tell you that the several attempts that I had to heal my anxious attachment, or the several attempts that most of my clients have when they try to heal their anxious attachment, is because they want to be chosen by their partners. They want their partners to treat them better, or that ex to come back sorry with flowers and with a big radio boombox on your window. Okay, for all of you Gen Z, you probably don't understand this reference, but if you try to do that, okay, you really are missing the point. The reason why you want to heal is to develop this innate radar that will detect avoidance, narcissists, and emotionally unavailable people, who are the 3 biggest, most recurrent partners of an anxious attached person. Okay, if you have anxious attachment and it's out of control, trust me, you have a target on your back, on your chest, on your forehead, everywhere that says, please come and abuse me. Okay, because your openness Okay, this openness and this vulnerability that you express, you overshare, you bond, you want to give, all of that, these three people, okay, these avoidance narcissists and emotionally unavailable people sniff that. Because what does that mean? That means that you have no boundaries and that you're easy prey. Okay, these three individuals don't like to work. They don't like to work for your heart. So if you give it so easy and you just open up without these people doing any merit, whether you're a man or a woman, so then they don't really feel like they have to do any work for you. So then when you heal, this inner radar starts to develop, and that's when you start choosing. That's when you start choosing well. Because I know if you're watching this, among your friends, you're the one that chooses wrong, right? So think about that. Think about the difference between the two. Number two is that you have to accept that your anxiety is not your personality, okay? Your anxiety is your relationship with your own anxiety that is the problem. Because you and your anxiety you're connecting with your anxiety in a very negative way. You hate it, you want it to go away, you're uncomfortable the whole time, when usually for healing you have to reinvent your relationship with your anxiety. I know there are a lot of you are like, well, I've always been like this, or you can say, I'm broken and this is just who I am. Truth is that anxious attachment is a learned response from your nervous system, and it's not a character flaw. Okay, you're not broken. If you continue to think that your anxiety is your identity, you'll defend it, you'll justify it, and unknowingly recreate it. Nothing is wrong with you. Your nervous system learned this to survive. So that means that your nervous system can also learn safety. Healing begins where shame ends. And the third thing is that you have to commit to healing as a life project and not a quick fix. I'm really sorry. I'm a doctor in psychology, psychoanalysis, and research, and I can tell you that there is no magic pill, there is no quick fix for anxious attachment. It involves consistency, the right methods tailored to you, whether you have high anxiety, low anxiety, it depends. It depends a lot on your culture. It depends a lot on your commitment. It depends a lot on your environment. I know you may think, I want this pain to stop, and it will stop. Or if you're thinking, if this relationship fails, my life is over. I know that hearing the word breakup or leaving your partner, and I'm sure all your friends are telling you to break up, and all these YouTube videos that you can just be good on your own, and telling an anxious attached person to break up is like telling an anxious attached person to set themselves on fire. And it would be really unempathetic for me to tell you that, especially since I'm an anxious attachment specialist. I would never say that. Okay, it takes time for an anxious attached person to create an exit strategy. You have to be ready and you have to be prepared. Truth is that anxious attachment is not something you heal while you're in a crisis mode. It heals through repetition, regulation, and patience. I know for an anxious person that wants everything fast, this sounds like, oh my God, years of therapy and hundreds and thousands of dollars, and it's not true. Okay, when you get the right person to help you, you'll see it's not as hard, it's not a huge task, but if you commit, you can do it. It's like if you think you're like 50 pounds overweight, then what do you get? You get a nutritionist, you get a meal plan, you get smoothies, you get a blender, and it's the same thing. If you have a project like that, then you have to commit and get all the elements and use them. If you don't use the tools, they won't work. If you only want to heal when you feel triggered, you will always be behind. Healing isn't something you do when you're panicking. It's something that you practice when you're calm. Once you stop trying to be chosen, stop identifying as broken, and treating healing as a long-term project, anxious attachment stops ruining your life. I'm telling you because of my own experience and all the people that I serve. If you're, let's say, ready to heal your anxious attachment the right way with someone that knows, not with someone that tells you that you need to integrate that avoidant partner, that you need to accommodate them, that you need to learn from their independence, that you're too needy. That's not the way to heal an anxious attached person. What an anxious attached person really needs is nervous system education and real life tools that are tailor-made for anxious people. I cannot give you a tool for a secure person or for an avoidant person. I cannot do that. I have to give you tools for an anxious person. If you're anxious, you don't see the world like the rest of us. This is the work I teach. So if any of this resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe and give me a like. It really helps this relaunch of my channel. And leave me a comment and tell me what you think. And I just want to tell you that you're very important and that you're not crazy and that I'm here and that you too can love pain-free. And I will see you on the next video.